I don't know what all you guys did during halftime, but we watched as they were fixing the scoreboard here at Alumni Hall. And they've got it right now. It's 43-37. Richmond is on top, along with Steve Lapis. I'm Tom McCarthy. We'll hear from John Rothstein in just a little bit. A lot more action, you think, in the first half that we expected?
A little faster than I thought.
Yeah.
And again, I've said it a couple of times. I mean, Richmond is a team that will push the ball up, and Ryan Odom did push it up at UMBC, and that's what we're seeing tonight. But the fact is that Richmond, 10 for 18 from the three-point line. That's the difference in the game versus Utah State being 3 for 9 from the three-point line. And they've lit it up from everywhere. Grant Golden was terrific in the first half. He made 3. Jacob Gilliard made 2. Tyler Burton made 2. So they had multiple guys. And in this offense, if you make threes, it's going to open it up for the layups inside. But you know what? Right now, Utah State has really dominated in the paint. 20 points in the paint to 10. So what Utah State needs, they need their guards to start doing something. They need Idle Rock to do something. Ryland Jones to do something. Brock Miller, Stephen Ashworth. Their 4 perimeter supposed shooters have really not got it done so far.
All right, let's check in with John Rothstein, who talked to both coaches.
Well, Tom, I just talked to Ryan Odom, and he told me the thing that he stressed in the locker room at halftime was simple. Utah State needs to cut down its turnovers. He feels like that's the difference in the game so far. Chris Mooney, meanwhile, wants his team to do better defensively, but also is hopeful that his bench, which Steve Lapis referenced in the first half, could be the difference to this team being fresher down the stretch, Tom.
All right, we appreciate that, John. There is Chris Mooney, the Princeton product. And Utah State will have the basketballs. We begin the second half. Game 1 of a doubleheader. Game 2, Navy and Virginia Tech coming up, and a foul right out of the gate called against KO. That'll be the team's first of this half. It was a fairly clean first half as far as fouls go.
Yeah, I mean, there weren't a lot of fouls. There weren't a lot of turnovers in the first half, so it had a really pretty good flow to it.
Here's Bean off the pass. Almost looked like he was trying to pass it again. It was an air ball, and here's Richmond on offense for the first time. Same starting 5. They feed the post. Golden goes to Gilliard. Gilliard leaves it for KO. Doesn't get the roll, but he's going to go to the free throw line. Ryland Jones called for the foul, so KO to the line. KO 72% last year. 8 points in the opening game. And number 1, no good. We're so proud at CBS Sports to bring you the inaugural HBCU All-Star Game, which will take place on Final Four Sunday, April 3rd at 4 p.m. Eastern and air live on CBS. The game will feature the best talent from the 4 historically black athletic conferences. And today it was announced that the game will take place at UNO Lakefront Arena in New Orleans. Tickets are on sale now at arena.uno.edu. As Brock Miller lays it in, that's a really well-designed play by Utah State to make it a 4-point game.
Yeah, that was a great cut by Brock Miller.
Miller was scoreless in the first half, so he gets his first bucket. 1 minute, almost 1 minute into the second half tonight. Burton step back jumper is no good. Rainbow shot. Horvath with the board. Here's Ryland Jones leading the point. Horvath, he was quiet offensively in the first half. Idle Rock off the screen, wanted to go right back to him.
I mean, they need Idle Rock to get going. This kid averaged 14 a game at UMBC. Now, I understand this is a little bit different, but he's got to get moving.
Under 10 on the shot clock. Miller steps in, and he's got 2 buckets in this half to make it a 2-point game.
Well, that helps because they got absolutely nothing out of him in the first half.
Utah State lost its opener. Richmond won its opener despite being down by 14 at the half. It was their biggest comeback since 2016. Golden up top for Sherrod for 3, no good. And Miller with the rebound. He was battling Bean for that rebound.
Bean usually comes down with those.
Now Utah State can tie this game or take the lead. Ryland Jones assessing. Jones to the corner, Horvath for 3, it's good, and Utah State takes the lead, 44-43.
The pick and pop by Horvath that time, but now they're starting to get a little bit more going from the perimeter. Brock Miller made a shot, Horvath made a shot.
Horvath went over 1,000 points in the last ball game. KO left wide open on the feed by Gilliard. back to a 1-point Richmond lead.
They're having a tough time keeping Jacob Gilliard in front of them in the half court.
And Lap, we mentioned it before, he plays almost every minute of every single game. I mean, his motor just doesn't stop.
Yeah, he's one of those guys he doesn't have to be taken out, and you don't want to take him out.
Sherrod called for the foul. Idle Rock going to the baseline.
Well, let's take a look at Brock Miller here in the corner. Take a look. A very simple move. He's right here in the corner. He's going to take his man up and cut to the basket. Look how open it is in here. So this little move of taking your man up and cutting to the basket, something so simple. You teach kids how to V-cut. That created that basket for Brock Miller.
Yeah, and sometimes people think it's a lost art in the game of basketball.
Hey, it's a simple thing, Tom.
Yep.
I want to take my man one way and go the other way. It's pretty simple moving without the ball.
KO called for his second foul this half, a little pushing foul.
I tell you, we've seen a lot of great cuts on this team, on this game from both teams. Backdoor cuts, nice bounce passes. These coaches know how to run half-court offense.
Jones inbounding, gets it to Horvath. Shot clock at 20.
And to me, that's the hardest thing to teach, half-court offense.
Yeah, particularly when you have a lot of new guys.
Oh, no.
Coach.
You have to work on it. I mean, I'm not saying you don't work on a transition game. I was never a crazy transition coach. I liked half-court basketball. These two guys, they know how to coach that half-court.
Now, it does help, I would think, Ryan Odom, that he was able to bring Horvath and Idle Rock with him to Utah State. It was Horvath who went first, and then he convinced Idle Rock to go second. Horvath said, yeah, I just need food, a basketball, and a place to sleep. As he deadens it off the iron. And by the way, talking to Ryan Odom today, he told us that this part of the game is where his team needs to improve. And he said Horvath is one of those guys. Some days he's really good from the free throw line. Some days he's not so good. Well, he made both free throws there.
You know, Richmond last year was a very good offensive team, really good. Defensively, you know, they were allowing people at 46%, so they have to start tightening things up in their half-court defense here. That's why Utah State starting to get into a much better groove in the half-court.
Grace back in the ball game for Richmond. Gets it to Burton. Wilson up top. Thought about the three. Instead, knifes through the defense.
They're not, you know, that's one thing they're not going to call this year. They talked a lot about travels when it came to Euro steps, spins, step backs, jump stops. They're going to be a little bit more, not necessarily jump stops, but they're going to be a little bit more lax with those other three.
And by the way, the shot clock was down to 1 as the ball was knocked away. This could be a violation, although, all right, the officials are conferring about it.
Well, they're going to go look at it.
Yeah, 16:31 to play here in the second half. I think Ryan Odom wanted a foul as Bean was going to the floor. There's DJ Karstensen, one of the veteran officials.
He's such a veteran, he used to ref my games. That's a veteran.
Well, and like me, he had hair at that time.
No, I don't think he did, actually.
See the shot clock, and it goes down to 0.
Well, that could have been a foul because you're not supposed to pile on. That's one thing that went in last year or the year before. They made it very, very clear. They didn't want guys on the floor and have another guy pile on top of him and not be called a foul. So that could have been a foul, too.
I think this is going to wind up being Utah State basketball, Lap, don't you? I mean,
I do.
It looked like the clock was down to 0 as DJ was blowing the whistle. So there's, Ron Taberski just told us if there's a timing error that they're just talking about. By the way, DJ wanted us to talk about his college coach tonight. Maybe getting into the Hall of Fame.
Larry Costello.
Yeah, Larry Costello. The late Larry Costello.
I guess he coached DJ at Utica.
I think that is right. I believe that's correct. That's where DJ is from. All right, so he is talking to Ryan Odom about what just happened. It's going to wind up being, looks like Richmond basketball with 20 on the shot clock. That's interesting. We'll try to get an explanation. So 20 on the shot clock. Must have been a change of possession. I don't know. So they said Bean had possession and went out of bounds.
And now the clock starts at 20 when
Right.
you take it out on the side and you're in the front court.
Horvath with the rebound tipped away by Bean.
Well, I think it's a good change.
Here's Bean, lays it in off the pass from Idle Rock. It's a 3-point lead for Utah State. Utah State led for 12 seconds in the first half of this game. Had a bunch of lead changes just in the second half alone. Gilliard to the corner. Long three, no good. Idle Rock with the rebound. He's getting a little more active. Jones, cut off. Keeps the dribble going. Brock Miller has it knocked. Gilliard's hands are so fast.
And he closed so quick on Brock Miller.
Horvath, little shot fake. 10 on the shot clock. Idle Rock off the screen. High post, backs his way in. Shot clock at 5. Bean to Horvath. Horvath got separation, lays it in as the clock winds down to 0. It wound around the rim before it dropped in.
And that was a great up fake by Horvath that time, which was able to freeze his defender and then him go right by him.
Largest lead of the night for Utah State. It's 50-45 as we head toward 5 minutes into the second half. Baresi gave it up to Grace. Grace tried to curl his way in, and Horvath's going to be called for the foul. .56 to play. How about this one, Coach? Bean flying in the air.
Bean, he runs the floor. He gets a lot of things done for you. Utah State really taking control in this second half.
Well, don't forget later on, Virginia Tech and Navy, the second game of this doubleheader at the Veterans Classic, and then later on, it'll be Stanford at Santa Clara at 11 o'clock Eastern. You know, it's Navy's results have gotten better the last couple of years. They beat George Washington. It was a single game last year, 78-71. They beat ECU before that. And that game against Pitt, they were excellent. And how about tonight, Utah State in the second half just taking control?
Yeah, I mean, their defense has been much better. I mean, Richmond's 1 for 5 in the second half, and then these guys are scoring on the other end. They're 5 for 6. So they've just turned this energy completely around here in the start of the second half.
Yeah, Brock Miller's been part of that. He's got a couple baskets in the second half, 4 points overall. See, it's a 13-2 run overall for Utah State. Horvath's been busy, and Idle Rock's been busy too.
And, you know, I thought that basket at the end of the half that, Richmond made at the buzzer there was going to be a big thing, but they just came right back. That's good out of bounds play there. A little too easy.
Yeah, Grant Golden gets his first bucket of the second half. A little pressure now by Richmond. Crabtree up on the ball with Idle Rock bringing it up. Idle Rock 64 starts for UMBC before transferring to Utah State. Rylan Jones to Bean, covered by Burton, kept his pivot foot. Bean tried to get some space, tough shot. Burton with some solid defense. Golden with the rebound. Gilliard. Again! Yeah, they don't always hand off the first opportunity in this system. And Golden got perfect position against Bean to get some daylight and lay it in.
Yeah, he made a nice slip there, and they were able to find him again going to the basket.
He has 22 points, 5 rebounds. It's a 1-point game. 5 lead changes. Dorius is going to check in for the first time. And that's going to be a hook, I believe, on Idle Rock. Offensive foul.
Take a look at that. Yeah, that's definitely a blocking foul. Oh, they called on Idle Rock.
Yeah.
He was kind of getting hip checked, I thought, in the beginning of that.
That's his first. Horvath will check out. Horvath just kept on going. He's into the locker room. 13:40 to play in the second half.
Come on, Travis!
Gilliard for 3. It's no good. A little too strong. Rylan Jones with the rebound. Again, they were red hot from 3 in the first half. Jones to Bean, lost it, and he's fouled. I actually think that pass was supposed to go to Idlerock. Let's check in with John Rothstein.
Well, guys, Justin Bean's imprints have been all over this game. I was talking recently to Colorado State coach Nico Medved, and he told me that within the Mountain West, Justin Bean is known as the Dennis Rodman of the league. And, Tom, there's no such thing as a 50-50 play when Bean's on the floor. Yeah, it's 90-10.
Yeah, his energy level is off the charts. Dorius trying to battle for the offensive board, keeps it alive to Jones. KO is able to knock it out of bounds. It'll be Utah State basketball.
When
KO not only knocked it out of bounds, he also knocked Idlerock
No,
down.
when the ref said blue, Idlerock said blue. Yeah, you're blue team. He had to look at his shirt to remind himself he was wearing blue, not white.
He had a tough time getting that ball in bounds, and he actually bounced it on the sidelines. I think his teammates needed to help him out a little bit more there.
Yes.
So that's a turnover. Richmond with the basketball down by 1. Neither team's really turned the ball over too much.
I tell you, Richmond does reverse the ball side to side to side. That makes it very hard for teams to help because you're constantly going from strong side to weak side to strong side.
KO against Bean. KO on the baseline. Can't get it to go. And a rebound by Dorius. Richmond thought he traveled after he got that rebound. Yeah, I think you watch Richmond and you watch a team that's been together for 5 years. I mean, truly been together. Sometimes some of the players have been together for 6 years. Idlerock blocked away by Golden.
Oh, wow.
They're going to call a foul on Golden. Horvath went and got some new shoes.
It's a foul.
Yeah, it's a foul. There was contact. So Idlerock to the free throw line, 4 of 6 from the line in the last game, and he rattles it home. I don't know what the difference is in the shoes, but listen, Lap, you need to have good shoes.
Yeah, hey.
Second shot for Idlerock. It's good. Idlerock will check out. Idlerock, whose mom got him into hoops. She was actually a coach over in London. That's how he began playing. Stepped away from the soccer field, from the pitch.
It's a big kid for a soccer field.
Yeah, he's a big kid. Speaking of big, KO backs his way in up top for Golden. Golden puts it on the deck. Shot clock at 5. Gilliard, little shoulder fake out to Golden, open for 3, short. And Bean with the rebound.
I got to tell you, that Dorius is very active. I mean, he moves his feet.
Again, battling an ankle injury. That's why he didn't play that much in the first game. Playing a little bit more here. Rylan Jones was left wide open, and he's able to lay it in to give Utah State a 5-point lead.
And Dorius rolled hard to the basket that time to make the defense not know what was going to happen, and then Rylan Jones took advantage of that.
Rylan Jones, whose dream was growing up was to play for Utah State, went to Utah because his dad was one of the coaches there. And that battle for Richmond and a lay-in and a timeout called by Chris Mooney. Well, Golden got the putback on one end, but on the opposite end, Utah State moving themselves to the basket.
Well, there we had Dorius going hard to the basket. Jones takes advantage. Utah State up 3.
Very entertaining game 1 between Utah State and Richmond. Utah State is on top by 3, 54-51 with 11:21 to play here in the second half. All right, so our stars that we talked about through the first half They've been stars tonight.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, these two kids are both very good players, and they are different in a lot of ways. I mean, they're both big kids, even though Bean's only 6'7", 6'8", but these kids have really gotten it done for their team tonight. But the big thing in this game right now, Tom, is that Utah State has defended the three-point line much better. Richmond 0 for 4 in the second half after making 9 in the first half. So that's what really has turned it around for Utah State, is what their defense on the perimeter is doing.
Yeah, you see Utah State also shooting the ball well at 53%. 11:05 to play here in the second half, 54-51. Rylan Jones, a little bit of a teardrop.
And the other thing is guys like, Brock Miller, Rylan Jones, these guys have done something in the second half, where in the first half they were really struggling.
I like the pace that Rylan Jones plays at as a guard.
Very much under control.
Yeah.
And, you look at this game in general, Tom, there's only 8 turnovers between these two teams. Utah State has 5, Richmond has 3, and you see a lot of passing and a lot of reversals. To only turn the ball over that few times tells you the quality of this game right now.
Miller down low to Dorius against Golden, and Golden's going to get called for the foul. Dorius getting deep inside the paint. He'll go to the free throw line when we return with Utah State up 5. Utah State on top 56-51, 10:25 to play in the second half. Coming up next, ICB returns as the 2021 college hoop season tips off. Don't miss our crew's expert analysis and predictions, and catch all the highlights from tonight's Veterans Classic. It's Inside College Basketball on CBS Sports Network. Hey, how about what Dorius has done in 10.5 minutes tonight?
I'll tell you, the seven-foot junior has been really good in this game. He's 5 for 6 from the field. He's played 10 minutes and 40 seconds, and he's also very active defensively. He moves his feet much better than you think sometimes. You kind of see a 7-foot kid, and you say, oh, he doesn't move that well. But I tell you what, he moves pretty well, and he moves those feet. He's been able to stay in front of, when they've had some switches, he's done a good job of staying in front of some guys.
Well, he's going to the free throw line. Last year, he was 7 of 17 for the free throw line. Limited action. Utah State last year won 20 games. They were picked 5th in the preseason poll. I think that's fair. San Diego State is really good this year again.
Colorado State is really good.
Colorado State. Nevada, really
good. Grant Sherfield is one of the best guards in the country.
Second shot, no good. Rebound is tipped. It's loose and picked up by Burton, and Ashworth trying to tie him up. And a jump ball. And the possession will remain with Richmond. Chris Mooney in his 17th year as the head coach at Richmond. Winningest coach in Princeton and Richmond history. 1994 graduate of Princeton, where he played for Pete Carrill, the great Pete Carrill.
He did better with his college coach than he could have, that's for sure.
Oh, man.
I recruited him, and, he did a lot better with Pete Carrill.
Stories that he can tell. Grace on the high post.
I just couldn't understand why, Manhattan's I was recruiting when I was a head coach at Manhattan.
You couldn't sell Manhattan to him?
Well, and it was a very good school. I said, all right, Princeton. I said, why are you going to go to Princeton and work that hard to become a basketball coach? Can I ask you?
Ashworth called for the blocking foul.
And I'm not trying to take anywhere from a Princeton degree.
No,
my point was,
you
don't need to be a Princeton graduate to coach basketball.
No. Tell you what, his mannerisms, Chris Mooney, you've known him for a long time. I've known him for a long time. His mannerisms are a lot like other guys. And don't forget, Chris Mooney was the head coach at Air Force at one point. Also was an assistant coach at Air Force under Joe Scott, who's the current coach.
I mean, this guy's been a head coach for a young guy for a long time.
And really good head coach.
Yes,
too.
Really good.
Gilliard's able to make both free throws. It's 57-53. Halfway through the second half. Free throws against North Carolina Central. They were 11 for 11 in the second half. That's part of the reason why they came back from 14 down.
Good slip.
Oh, Bean able to find some daylight, and he lays it in. Ashworth with a beautiful pass. It's a 6-point game, 59-53. Gilliard for three. It is no good. They continue to be cool from beyond the arc in the second half.
Yeah, that's been the difference. You make 9 threes in the first half, you're up 6.
Utah State with its biggest lead, led by Justin Bean, 17, but they've gotten some additional help from others in the second half, including Ryland Jones. Backdoor pass to Bean, kicks it to the corner for Horvath. Got it! Look at the smile on Horvath's face. Friends and family have come to watch him play.
Yeah, I tell you, Richmond is really not doing a good job of containing Utah State off the dribble.
Burton for three. It's good. That is a high arcing shot. And I think he knew that was good once it left his hand.
Well, he's a guy that's got to get a little more involved in this game.
And a steal by the Spiders, and eventually a foul on Ryland Jones. Isaiah Wilson.
Just quick hands.
Second foul on Ryland Jones, team's 5th foul. Richmond has 17 fouls so far. Gilliard will inbound. Miller back in. Dorius checks out. All right, so Wilson's running the point, and they've got Gilliard off the point.
Which they like to do, because they like to, good back cut there, but good recovery by Horvath.
And Grace is trying to slip it off the rim, no good, and he's fouled by Horvath, and he'll go to the free throw line.
You know, Tom, I used to tell my guys, the more screens you set, the more shots you get. So here's what happened. Justin Bean set a screen, and 2 guys left that went to the cutter, and he was able to slip to the basket. That's what you call a slip screen. If you set screens, everybody's always concerned for who you're screening for. And they forget about you, the screener. The screener is the forgotten man.
Grace connects on the free throw. Idle Rock will check in. Ryland Jones checks out. Grace trying to make this a 4-point game. And it rims out. Golden though with the rebound. That's a huge rebound. Back it in against Horvath to the corner for Grace for 3, and he got it to go. Pinballed around. He made it a 2-point game. And Ryan Odom wants a timeout.
Well, Richmond made a ton of threes in the first half. This time they double on Grant Golden, leave the corner open, and they pay for it. 62-60.
All right, Lap, what do you think about your keys tonight?
Well, I think, Utah State has not turned the ball over. They have 7 turnovers total for the game, and contain Horvath for Richmond, which they have not been able to do, especially in the second half. The kid has 10 points. He's 3 for 3 from the 3-point line. I mean, he does so many good things when it comes to offense, and he's versatile. He's big, but he can go inside. He can put the ball on the floor. He can make threes. He's a good passer. He was a really, really good addition to this program, and he's a good complement to Justin Bean, who's an improved 3-point shooter, but isn't as comfortable on the perimeter as Horvath is. So they work well together.
Yeah, Chris Mooney told us before the ball game, he said that Horvath was his concern because he's such a matchup issue because of his size and the way he plays.
And I tell you, the improvement in Justin Bean in terms of his perimeter game, because he was basically like a 90% inside guy. Now he's putting on the floor a little bit. He's making a 3 here and there. So you see him putting on the ball on the floor here. That's fine.
Yeah, Wilson's called for the foul. What do you got, John Rothstein?
Well, guys, we got to keep in mind, too, it is only November 12th, but these teams in non-power conferences have to maximize every key scheduling opportunity that they're going to have during the non-conference portion of the schedule. For Utah State and Richmond right now, this game will travel all the way up to the postseason. So even though it's November 12th, a lot riding on this game.
That's a great point, John, because, these are both, this is going to be a quality win for somebody. It's going to be a top 75 win at the worst probably for somebody. So that's a quality win, and these are the things that you need to get.
And Burton for three for his second one of this half.
This guy, I tell you, he can get him off. He needs to get more shots.
It's a 1-point lead now for Richmond. It's the 8th lead change. And by the way, John Rothstein, I got to tell you, your wordsmith on this game will travel for the rest of the year. I think it was excellent, by the way.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, Horvath, Ashworth.
And you know what's happened with Richmond? They made 3 threes in the last few minutes. They had made none.
Idle has it knocked away by Gilliard. Shot clock down to 3, and Grant Golden is there for the swat and essentially a steal. Richmond a 10-0 run over the last minute and a half. Golden maybe sensing a little bit of momentum swing. Burton off the screen, picked up by Miller. Shot clock at 5. Wilson to the rim. Doesn't get the torque off the glass. Idle to the basket, fouled by Grant Golden, who basically took him on his hip and just carried him down to the baseline.
Well, I mean, Idle-Rock's a guy who has shot a lot of free throws in his career, which you understand. And this, you know, Burton just too big for Ashworth. I mean, Ashworth does a good job contesting, but he's much smaller, and Burton just shot over him.
All right, so Idle to the free throw line. He is off the foul by Golden. 3 fouls on Golden. And Idle misses. Ashworth will check out. It'll be Miller, Jones, Horvath, Bean, and Idle. This is the starting 5 for Utah State. Golden will take a breather. Sherrod is back in. Nick Sherrod, he's still coming back from a second ACL injury.
Yeah, he has not been a factor in this game at all.
Burton covered by Bean. Right side of the key. Fadeaway jumper, and didn't have enough on it.
Good job by Bean, not letting him get any closer to that, making him shoot that 12, 14-foot fadeaway.
Horvath open for 3, and it's no good. Bean, though, there with the offensive board. There were 3 Richmond jerseys around him.
There absolutely were, Tom.
Miller for 3. It is no good. Seems like the basketball might be a little too big for the rim on a couple of these shots.
Yeah. But Justin Bean, I mean, comes out of nowhere to get that rebound off 3 guys.
Yeah, he's zeroing in on another double-double. He needs 2 rebounds to get to it.
I don't know, they put in the notes that he could be the 3rd Utah player in history to be 1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds. He needs 300 rebounds just about. That was a great play there.
Yeah, Crabtree makes it a 2-point game, 65-63.
But the 130 points he'll get, the 300 rebounds, that's a tall one there.
They're laying out they're laying out some optimism, lad.
Yeah, oh yeah, no. 30 games, that's 10 rebounds a game. That's some rebounds.
That's yeoman's work.
Oh, yeah.
How about Jones? Pivoting, and then bam, off the glass.
And he's done that a couple of times in this game.
65 all. Gilliard. That's a long bounce pass. Sherrod open for 3. No good off the front of the rim.
Just not moving. Yeah, I know he lost a lot of weight. Doesn't look to be moving smooth.
75 days of non-cheating diet as Bean hops into the paint, lays it in. It's a 2-point Utah State lead.
I tell you, that kid's a good player. I've seen him a lot in the last 4 years. To think that he's a walk-on is like ridiculous.
67-65. He has 19 points. Bean does. Gilliard fadeaway grazes the side of the rim. Bean, by the way, 24 is his career high. He has 19 tonight. Horvath to Rylan Jones for 3, and it's an air ball. Bean with the rebound, lays it in. Wide open, easy rebound for Bean. And Utah State leads it by 4. They were really disappointed after their opening night loss. They're in the lead as we wind it down. 4-point lead for Utah State, 69-65. Boy, Justin Bean has just been all over the place tonight.
And that's what he does. I mean, he's all over. He made a couple of threes in the first half. Then he does what he does best, which is running the floor, getting offensive rebounds. But this guy's been pretty good too. Grant Golden, tough player. Going to be a 5-time All-A-10 player. Never happened. Probably never will. Hopefully never happen again. But yeah, you look at these two guys, and they've really been terrific tonight.
Yeah, so for Bean, we talk about averaging a double-double. It's his second straight game with a double-double. He has 27 double-doubles in his career. 21 points, 11 rebounds.
Well, you know, last year he averaged about 13 and 7, 8. 2 years ago, he averaged a double-double.
Right.
So, I mean, this guy is definitely capable of putting double-doubles up all the time.
4-point lead for Utah State. Gilliard, Golden, little two-man game. Sherrod is back on the bench for the Spiders. Golden gives it up to Grace. Back to Golden. Golden for three, short. And Bean battling for the loose ball, and the Spiders are on top of it. It's Grace. They're going to call a jump ball on that.
Utah State ball.
Yeah, the possession arrow belongs to Utah State. KO back in. He hasn't played in a little bit because he was in a little bit of foul trouble. Wilson is up on Rylan Jones. Horvath. Back to Jones. Jones got a burst. Jones has it knocked away. Bean is there. Bean is able to rattle it home. He's got 23.
How is it this guy's always in the right place?
Just knows for the basketball. It's crazy.
You know, that's a talent. You say, oh, maybe it's luck. No, this guy follows. He's got a nose for the ball.
8-0 run for Utah State. Golden trying to end that run here. Caught in the paint. Gets it to Gilliard. Gilliard down to KO. Back out for Gilliard for three, and it's a much-needed three-pointer for the Spiders, and it's back to a three-point game.
And much needed play by him. You know, Gilliard has not been great in his game tonight at all. He's been almost a non-factor, really.
Yeah, that three-pointer for Gilliard gives him 13 points. And Horvath answers with a three of his own, 74-68. It's as if you knew it, Lap, as soon as the ball left his hands. He has 13 second-half points. Burton for the baseline. Scissor lift, no good. Horvath. 2:20 to play in the second half. Richmond picked to finish second in the Atlantic 10. St. Bonaventure and Mark Schmidt's team at the elite level at this point. Utah State picked fifth in the Mountain West. Bean launches for three. It's a career high. 77-68. 26 points for Bean.
The difference in this guy's game, I mean, this guy's been good for a long time, but, you know, with no Neemias Queta, no Sam Merrill from a couple of years ago, another great one for Utah State. Now it's his turn, and, boy, he's getting it done.
Richmond may need to use their final timeout shortly.
They're going to have to try and push this thing up, score, and call time, set up their pressure.
We're under 1.5 to play in the second half. Ashworth, little hesitation. Horvath for three. He doesn't get that one to go, but Bean battling for the rebound. Just barely lost it as Gilliard brings it up. Burton steps into a three. No good. Bean another rebound.
They got to start fouling if they're going to have a chance.
I would totally agree with that. And there it is. Wilson fouls Ashworth. It's a 14-3 run.
Well, Justin Bean here, KO gives way too much help. And I don't know what the scouting report coming in was. It may have been, let's not worry about Bean. That was the history, but guess what? Better start worrying about him there.
So now Ashworth to the free throw line. 90% last year, connects here. And it's now a 10-point game. It's the largest lead of the night for the Aggies.
And I'll tell you, I saw their first game against UC Davis. I don't think they played. They played poorly on offense. The defense was a little better in the first half. Second half, not so good. And they really have put something together tonight.
They really have.
Let me tell you.
79-68, 1 minute to play, and a turnover by Gilliard. And you'll expect Richmond again to foul.
Oh, yeah. They got to give it another crack for sure.
They got to stretch this game.
I mean, it's 11. It's hard, but not completely impossible. Not like winning the lottery. It's not lottery odds.
I got you.
It's bad, but not lottery odds.
Jones inbounds to Miller, to Horvath, and now to Bean. Well, they broke it pretty easy, and now Wilson fouls Bean, which will send him to the line. Sherrod will check back in for the Spiders. It's a two-shot foul because it's a double bonus. You don't think the Aggies players are feeling this? Bean just looked at Horvath, smiled, and raised his eyebrows a few times.
You know, they lost at home to UC Davis. That's not a good loss. They come here on a neutral court. If they end up winning this game, they beat the second best team in the Atlantic 10. It's a good win.
Mm-hmm. And Bean adding to his career high in points. 81-68, 13-point lead for Utah State.
They just completely dominated in the second half.
Dominant. Gilliard cans it. And the final timeout is used by Richmond.
Well, they can foul one more time.
49 seconds to play. We'll see. Utah State is on top 81-71. They've outscored Richmond 44-28, and it's all because of Justin Bean and others, but Bean's been really the foundation.
But there's no doubt about it. I mean, he gives them a tremendous amount of energy the way he scores. But adding this part to his game, the three-point shooting, is really the thing that can make him special.
He wears the number 34, which was his dad's college number. I'm sure he's making Dad proud here tonight. And a two-handed exclamation point to make it 83-71.
What a great catch that was, too.
Sure was.
Transition, man. That was, he looked like a tight end there, or wide receiver time. You know a little better football than me.
Yeah. He has 30 points and 14 rebounds tonight.
That's
a night.
I'd say a monster performance. Look at the catch. I mean,
that's an excellent catch.
And he gathers himself and dunks it. Gathers himself, puts it down on the floor twice, and dunks it.
That's a Mo Alley Cox catch right there.
Oh, there's one.
For the Colts, former VCU basketball player. Burton to the line, 1-1. First one's good.
Yeah, they didn't get enough from Burton and Sherrod tonight. Gilliard, I thought he might have had 14 points, but I don't think it was his best game.
Well, and I think what you mentioned, too, before is Utah State really did clamp down defensively in the second half.
Yeah, they really got out to the three-point line hard.
Crabtree tried to draw the action, misses the three. Ball is loose. Jones, falling out of bounds, is fouled. .7 to play. All right, so to the free throw line will go the Aggies. It'll be Rylan Jones. By the way, the mids are heading in. They've come in from the yard, and they're getting ready for Navy and Virginia Tech, which is following after this.
When have they come off a win like they've had? How about 30, almost 30 years ago?
Yep.
No, what am I saying almost 30 years ago? I'm 35 years ago, 36
I was thinking it was 86. I graduated high school in 86.
All right, don't tell me that now, right? I remember that Navy team, but they had David Robinson.
They did.
This Navy team went to Virginia and won. They didn't have David Robinson with them.
85-72. 24 seconds left to play. Bailey to Gilliard. Gilliard into the paint, to the basket. No good. Rebound loose and tipped out. Crabtree will let it fly. It's no good as well. Horvath battling for the rebound. Miller comes out of it with it, and there's a tie-up. With 6 seconds left to play, the possession belongs to Richmond. I would think Ryan Odom, whose dad Dave was such an excellent coach, I think he's feeling pretty good about his team's toughness.
Yeah, I'm sure Dave probably feels a lot better right now, too.
Yeah. You know how that is watching your son coach.
Absolutely.
Kelly lays it in. 85-74, 3.5 to play, and that will do it. Utah State brushes aside their opening loss to Cal Davis to win it 85-74 with a dominant second half. Collectively, but also individually by Justin Bean.
I mean, Tom, they threw up 85 in this game. I mean, that's on the road, different time zone. Got to give them a lot of credit for what they did. I mean, Richmond's coming basically up the road, and Utah State, Justin Bean, really tough. Yeah, this is an impressive performance by Utah State.
You know, we knew Bean was going to be good this year. I think he may have sent a message with his performance tonight. This is an excellent Richmond team.
Yo, no doubt. I mean, this Richmond team could be in the NCAA tournament. No, but they could be one of the large teams from the Atlantic 10 if they don't win the tournament. So, yes, this is an excellent Richmond team. And Utah State just totally smoked them in the second half.
4 different double-digit scores for Utah State tonight, led by Justin Bean, who had 30 points, a career high, and 14 rebounds in tonight's ball game. Horvath, who, went to Southern High School, not too far from here in Annapolis, played in front of his friends and family. He had a nice night, too. But really, the star of tonight's game was Justin Bean. He stands by with John Rothstein.
All right, Justin, congratulations on an incredible performance. 30 points, 14 rebounds. What changed for your team after halftime?
I think we just knew that we had to come in and be tougher, man. They out-rebounded us pretty good that first half. Thought we weren't playing physical enough. So got the guys together and said we got to start now, man. The season has to start somewhere, so we had to pick up big time.
You showed so many new dimensions in your game during this contest, a recalibrated three-point shot. What did you specifically work on during the offseason?
Exactly that, John. I knew I can be an offensive threat for this team in multiple ways. This season I just worked on the shot, expanded my game. Definitely the hardest offseason of my life, so I'm definitely glad it paid off tonight.
Thanks. All the best the rest of the way.
Thank you, John. Appreciate
Tom.
it.
All right, John, we appreciate that. We do sleep in May. That's exactly right. Our final score. It is 85-74. Utah State defeats Richmond. For Steve Lapis, John Rothstein, and our excellent crew, I'm Tom McCarthy. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. We'll be back shortly for Game 2 of our doubleheader, Virginia and Navy. But now, let's go to Brent Stover.